Welcome to yet again another episode of AGRA's Voices with Banter with Dr. Kalibata. In today's episode, we are honored to be having young entrepreneurs across the continent from Ghana, Tanzania, and Kenya with us in the studio. Today, we will be having old conversations around how the transition from age-old practices of farming with tools like a hoe to the latest precision technologies has indeed inspired young people to join the agribusiness sector. With me to host today's episode is none other than Dr. Agnes Kalibata, the president of AGRA, the former UN Food Systems Envoy, and former Minister of Agriculture from Rwanda. Welcome to the episode, Dr. Kalibata. So allow me to do a detailed introduction to the panelists that we have today so that you can get a gist of the interesting insights that they bring to this conversation. Alan is a founder of Farm IT, an agri-tech startup that leverages AI, satellite imagery, and machine learning. Alan is a self-taught software engineer, but an agronomist by background. Allow me to also introduce in detail the other two ladies that we have online, starting with our Ghanaian agri-tech trailblazer, Anapoka Adazebra. Anapoka herself is a CEO and of Famio Limited, another innovative agri-tech company in Ghana. She too, like Alan, leverages web mobile technology, climate-smart agriculture, and precision farming to offer value chain solutions that empower smallholder farmers. She does bring extensive experience in this sector and has been recognized by leading awards across the sector. She is a gender equality champion and a woman-female leader. And lastly is Nancy Iraba, another trailblazer from Tanzania that is the seaweed entrepreneur. She too is an award-winning marine scientist, co-founder and CEO of Healthy Seaweed Company. She runs this as a social enterprise and is keen on innovating nutritious seaweed-based products, partnering with over 130 women entrepreneurs in the sector. Again, she has won a number of social impact awards and will be speaking to us about those inspirations. So let me come back in the room and start with you, Alan. What were some of the key factors that motivated you to pursue a career in agribusiness?
From my background, from the time that I was very young, I used to really work with students. See my grandmother really playing games with the ground, and it really inspired me because that's why we moved to our football. So I decided to pursue my degree at the business just to ensure that we normally have food for this. So that was basically what I pursued. But even as I continued pursuing it, I found out that it was not only in our home, but even in other homes that people really kind of food for their subsistence commercial purposes.
Awesome. So I'll ask the same question to Nancy. What inspired you to start a business in the agri sector?
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, I'm very happy to be in this podcast, and I'm very happy to be in the same room with Dr. Kalibata. She's really an inspiration in the agriculture sector. So initially, I'm a marine scientist by profession, and for me in the agribusiness sector, what inspired me is the exposure which I got during COVID back in 2020, when I realized that in the community which I've worked with for over 10 years, was very much suffering from climate change in regarding to farming our oceans. I saw that there was an opportunity to make a change. So I started from the ground up with working with the communities, and that's how the idea was just ignited to work in the sectors of farming our ocean and to innovate different products from the seaweed. Yeah.
Awesome. And Anapoka, what inspired you to start your business in the agri sector?
Okay, for me, I grew up in a farming community. My background is full of being in a family of women who were always on the field, trying to get enough food to feed ourselves and many other people across our borders. Combined with the fact that growing up in the northern part of Ghana, you are only encountering one rainy season the whole year. So that means that we have to be able to grow enough food to be able to cover us for that full production year. And so for me, it was what kind of solution could I bring in, which was low cost, user friendly, and easily accessible for the smallholder farmer, that allowed them to be able to grow food all year round, organic food, not just to feed themselves but also for commercial benefit to also improve their incomes. And so that's how Farmio came about.
Amazing. Dr. Kalibata, do these three stories ring a bell for you? What stands out for you across the three stories in terms of what inspired them?
No, thank you. It's really good to be here with you. The three of you. Your story, Alan, is interesting. I want to hear more. Actually, I want to hear more from all of you. I mean, I guess the thing that stands out is you all have a connection with farming. You all came to appreciate farming at a very early stage. The connection, the ability to see that happen in the field is part of what encouraged you. But you didn't see technology growing up, and yet you're all in tech businesses. So I just wanted to understand from you why you thought, despite what you saw, the real value was going to come from what you're doing today. What was the need? Last time we talked about the need. What was the need that helps you make that connection? And which gaps are you feeling? Where do you see the biggest opportunity? And how has that turned into a business for you? And we do that. We're saying that, and it's important that we have this conversation because we want you to inspire other young people. We want to have this conversation be part of how we inspire young people like yourselves out there that come from different walks of life, have different capabilities, just like the three of you do. And how do you find yourself in this area that you're working in and turn it into a business? So maybe let's go just a little bit beyond the introduction. Tell us, Alan, how did you decide to go into IT, and what do you do in IT, and how is that a solution for farmers?
After completing my undergraduate, I was employed at Kenya Seed Company as a field representative. But during that time, I developed a passion of helping farmers, helping smallholder farmers. And I used to go to their different fields. I used to try and sell them seeds. I used to try to give them advice on what they're supposed to do. But year in, year out, I mean, I could sell these farmer seeds. I could sell for him the input, the fertilizers. But the farmer will still come back and tell me, look, I bought all these things at this price. I bought a hybrid seed at this price, but I didn't get enough returns. So that was one problem that I encountered in the field. And I was like, look, so the only thing that you need to do is you need to get best knowledge practices for you to improve on your yields. And looking at the ecosystem of all the traditional way in which our farmers normally get this information is either through agricultural field extension officers, and most of them are either private from seed companies or even from government. But now with the evolution, it became very hard for farmers really to get these agricultural extension officers. Right now, we're talking of a ratio of one extension officer serving 5,000 smallholder farmers, as recommended by FAO of 1 to 400. So there was a gap. That means farmers are not getting knowledge on how they can improve on their practices. So technology is the one that's supposed to fill this gap. I mean, normally people, traditionally, farmers would go to radio stations or they will listen into traditional media to get this information. But the gap was still very visible because other farmers couldn't have that form of radio. So that's when I decided, like, look, I need to provide these farmers with this kind of information. And the best way for me to reach all of them and to reach them at a cost-effective way was to use technology. So that's how I decided.
So what does that mean when you say use technology? Because there's so many types of technology.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I wanted technology that is very efficient for them, that they can easily get at the grasp of their hands. Because for the earlier technology, I mean, for the traditional channels, they could wait up to, let's say, 7 p.m. in the evening
So that's when they could hear more about agriculture. And sometimes it wasn't more focused on a specific crop that they're doing. So I wanted a technology that could serve the specific purpose for these farmers. So the farmers that I was working with were horticultural farmers. They were doing a lot of vegetable crops. So I wanted a specific technology that could address vegetable farmers in the counties that I used to operate in. So I decided to start with the basic SMS services, just push notifications.
So you're pushing SMS messaging to farmers
Yes,
on their telephones.
yes, on their telephones. I mean, because I saw that was the best way for them to get this information. I mean, if farmers could get this information periodically and could get it at a timely manner where they are able to, it's like a reminder to them, like, look, today you're supposed to do this, 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 and this. That will make them to align their farming practices in accordance to what information I'm giving them, and that with the aim of them improving on their yields. So I started with the SMS services.
Okay, so you pushed out the messages. So then what happened?
I mean, at first it was very okay for them. They said, look, this information is very okay. Even some were complaining, look, don't send the information, because the way our system was arranged was that we're supposed to send information at 12 a.m. at night. So some other farmers were saying, no, don't send it to us at 12 a.m. at night. Send it to us maybe in the morning or even at 6. So initially it started out well. Most farmers were like, I really like the information, I'm using the information, but I want more. There was that constant feedback from farmers, like, I have this, it's good, but I want more.
Did you have a backbone? Did you just design an SMS and send it to all the telephone numbers you have? Who was supporting you to do that? How were you doing that?
After I left my work at Kenya Seed, I started with a basic SMS system, with a bulk SMS system that I had.
You just lifted your phone,
Yes,
put in place 200 telephones,
yes,
put all those, and each time you would send one message and send it to 200 people. Is that what happens?
yes.
Or you would do one by one?
No, I will send it to 200 farmers at a go.
And that bulking is possible just using your phone. You don't need a backbone or whatever.
Yes, at first I didn't need a backbone for that, but later on I learned that in order for me to schedule these SMSs, I needed to have like a system that will send them automatically, so I don't need to do it manually.
Okay, Nancy, this was what I'm hearing from Alan is extremely interesting. You don't need he didn't need more than his telephone, just his mobile telephone. His business idea started. Just took that mobile telephone, used the usual SMS stuff that you would use, and started working and testing out his ideas so that he could, and that led him to the next big thing. You said you're a marine biologist, so tell me, what made you think that seaweed is the thing you should do? What do you use it for? Who eats it? Is it a food? Is it a medicine? What is it that you do?
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalibata. So basically, seaweed is the only farmed plant in our ocean that is edible. But and when it comes to seaweed, Tanzania is the first largest producer of seaweed in Africa. So for me, I was quite very burdened for the fact that I come from a country that is a representative of this seaweed in Africa. And then when you go to researches and you go to real life on ground, we only use less than 1% of that seaweed, and 99 of it is being used for export. But even when you come to another light, it is an industry that is saving more than 20,000 farmers who are women, and it is one of the fastest growing sectors of blue economy for Tanzania. I started to think out loud when COVID hit, because previously I used to have only scientific mind, and I was only interested to go to the coast, and I used to see seaweed, but I used to see it in the scientific eyes, wanting to collect data and to publish papers. But during COVID, a friend from America called and said that first of all, I had an announcement from the radio. It was from from FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, saying that they are motivating people to consume healthy foods that can boost their immunity, such as seaweed. And for me, it burdened me, like, how comes I'm hearing this? I'm hearing about seaweed now that it's recommended by FAO people should consume, and I've been working with seaweed communities, but in the light of a research. So I started to question myself, there should be more. Then I came to realize that industries that are dealing with innovating seaweed to foods to make the seaweed edible to my community and beyond, they were almost non-existent. So I saw an opportunity in that area. So I conversed with my husband, who is also a marine scientist like myself, and said that I think there is an opportunity here. So we started to use tools that are disposed to us, our phones, in YouTube, to started to see what are other countries doing. Countries like leading in seaweed, in Indonesia, in China. What are they doing with this seaweed that us we are supposed to adopt?
So you did the research and tried to understand what everyone is doing with seaweed. What did you decide? What did it lead you to?
It's led me that seaweed is actually very nutritious, and the findings shows that out of 102 organic minerals that human body needs, out of that, seaweed has 92 of them. And I came to realize the biggest problem is the lack of innovation, lack of innovators in seeing this seaweed as food. But also, when you see seaweed in the ocean, it's actually not so much edible. So I came to realize that there needs to be innovations of creating different foods that can attract my communities and beyond to be able to consume seaweed in their diet. So I started to make to innovate different foods from my home. Actually, I started from my home kitchen. So, and we were using just low technology to make to test some different foods that can work. And we started slowly with seaweed gels, in which the seaweed is processed, whereby a person can use the seaweed in their juices, in their smoothies, in making their stews. And then we slowly grew. We were able to secure some funding, and now we have about 15 product lines, which are quite very innovative and very delicious to eat. But also, as you eat, you're also increasing your immunity. And also, we have had variety of testimonies on how people who have used our products have been healed from issues like arthritis and issues like ulcers. So we are seeing the impact, but that is not only in that realm, but also through this boosting of eating of seaweed, we are also creating local markets for these women seaweed farmers not to be export dependent. So we have seen also the value in terms of these women getting the market, because now the awareness is getting higher, and also with the demand also getting higher at a local level, these women are also getting markets.
Very good, very good. So, but it all started with you trying it out in your kitchen and trying to find different things that would work for you. You didn't have a big bank opportunity or whatever. You just went to your kitchen and started working. Okay, let me come to you, Anapoka. Tell us your story.
Great opportunity, by the way. Thank you so much for the chance to share our story directly with you. I've actually come across you a few times at AGRF, and so it's great to speak to you now. Yeah. So myself, I grew up in a farming community. I had my degree in computer science, and then I still wanted to find a way to get one thing that fascinates me in technology is using technology to solve problems. And in that, we say whatever technology you're coming up with should be user-friendly or should be a human-centered design. So we should be able to come up with solutions in whichever industry we choose to be in that would allow people to use and benefit as much as possible from that solution which has been created using technology. And so that's where we're looking at applying that kind of human-centered design or user-friendly designs into agriculture. What could we do in agriculture that would basically improve upon the lives of the smallholder farmer? And myself, coming from the background that I had, meant that I had the direct pain points of the producer. I knew what it feels like to wait for rainfall to be able to grow, for the rains to delay and not being able to plant, because basically before you even before you plow, it has to rain. Before you seed the ground, it has to rain. Before you apply fertilizer, it has to rain. And so I saw firsthand how it felt like waiting for these kind of things. And then even being able to go through all that process, sourcing for inputs, sourcing for the seeds, the fertilizers, the protective equipment that you need to be able to grow, having the kind of knowledge that you needed to be able to grow enough. Then even when you're done with that, if you had excess, trying to sell that on the market is one of the things that we're looking at. So we were primarily focused, we decided to focus on vegetable production. Because I mean, what I was seeing in my community was we do a lot of the grains, but in terms of gaining nutritional benefits from producing vegetables, we don't really do that up north. So what could we do to be able to grow vegetables all year round and have the vegetables be healthy, be accessible to our producers, and then they can also sell the excess on the markets?
No, that's interesting. Really, really great stuff that you all are starting with. So how big is your business now? You know, from your telephone, just your telephone and a few of the people, the farmers you had been selling seed to.
Yeah.
How big is your business now?
We started in 2017 as an idea, and we started our operations in 2020. So 2020 was a bit hard for us, but since then we have managed to register over 7,000 smallholder farmers.
7,000?
Yes.
You're sending messages to 7,000 smallholder farmers?
Not only messages, now we are providing them even with better offerings, because the messages was just a start, was like our minimum viable product. So with the feedback that we got from farmers, we improved our offering by providing them with more precision farming tools. Now we started using satellite technology, we started using artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide them with information about their soil and plant health issues.
So how do you get paid? This is we're talking about farmers, smallholder farmers. Help me understand the connection between your business model, I mean, you as an entrepreneur and the business you're trying to build, and working with smallholder farmers and being paid. Just help me understand.
Normally, our farmers know that for them to get information, they need to get it free. But we need to change that narrative. So the first process was to change that narrative, that information is not even free. It's variable, it needs to be valuable. So when we went to the farmers, we were telling them that they're able to improve on their productivity by 20%. I mean, if a farmer will see, for example, a tomato farmer, that from the normal 10 tons of tomato for an acre, they could get an additional 3 tons extra. That to them was a very good offering. And we also told them that apart from that, they're also able to get reduced on their input cost, because currently input costs are very high. So we tell them that they could reduce their input cost by 30%. And that one was a game changer for them. So with that, we were giving them an offering of our revenue model of 2,500 Kenya shillings annually. So that one really sold them in.
So with that revenue model, the farmer is able to pay you. There's an extra revenue model you're not tapping into, and I'm going to challenge all of you to tell me why you're not tapping into that. You're actually saving the environment. You're reducing the amount of inputs they would use, and inputs in this case, you mean fertilizers, you mean herbicides, you mean pesticides. You're reducing that by 30%. There must be an income stream around saving the environment, and it's called carbon credits. Have you thought about that?
Yes, we have thought about the issue of carbon credits. In fact, there are some other organizations which are dealing with climate have come to us with the issue of carbon credits and such manner, but we haven't thought about it yet.
Maybe it is not carbon credits per se, maybe it's biodiversity credits, maybe it's carbon credits, whatever it is. I do think that if you keep your data, maybe that's the other thing. that if you start keeping data
Yes.
and keeping track of everything you're doing from a data perspective, it's extremely valuable information that I'm sure some other people would be interested in buying. But let me go back to Nancy and your products. You said you now have 15 products, right?
Yes.
So who is your market, and how is this going to be a sustainable business model?
Firstly, Dr. Kalibata, when we were starting, we were quite very skeptical, because it was a product that, despite the fact that we are producing the largest, but people were not so much aware. So we started by we decided to start small anyway, because we still saw an opportunity. But still, we went and into assessing what kind of people were consuming our products, and we came to realize and mapped that people who are health conscious, and during COVID, I think most of the people decided to make a commitment into turning into healthy lifestyles. So we had targeted marketing to people, to gym places, and also in social media. But also we looked into also international markets as well, because at the end of the day, most of the people take our seaweed while it's raw, but actually we saw an opportunity of adding value to food. And also we looked at a place like, for Tanzania, in Zanzibar, where there is tourists. Like a tourist is able to pay more for a juice that is added with seaweed rather than a juice that is just plenty. Like, there is a community already have an understanding of importance of having this seaweed in their diet. So we mapped that, and from 2020 to now, we have seen increasing number of people who consuming seaweed. Like even right now, as I'm speaking, every week there are 3 to 4 people who are inquiring if we have a certain type of seaweed, and they are usually very happy to know that our seaweed is already processed to consuming level, and that we have different flavors that fit their needs. So we are constantly adapting by reading the market, in a sense that we have recognized that we have a type of a market that wants to consume, but they need more education. So that's why, even when you go to our social media, we have very much invested in giving education of the importance of this type of farming. And there are people who have never even seen how seaweed is being farmed in the ocean. So we have also expanded our model to have, we do host seaweed tourism. So we do take, for people who wants to go and see the farms along the coast of Tanzania, we offer that service. But apart from that, our facility has been used as a learning ground for international conferences in Tanzania. The last one, the last Africa Food Systems, we had delegates who came to visit in our facility. And whenever they visit, these are international delegates who keep on to perpetuate the word, and they buy our products. And also, we have also had international delegates who order our products to go back to their countries. So I have seen significant increase, to the extent that currently we are doing another market mapping to see who are the emerging, because it's an emerging product, but also it has emerging customers. We have seen that increasing graph going up. But on the other side, about our model being sustainable, it is through sales. We invest a lot in pushing ourselves, and we invest a lot in terms of giving education, and we invest a lot when it comes to product development. We use a lot of time in developing our products, and also to make sure that also our products are quality.
Sorry to cut you off. The only question I would ask is, from an environmental perspective, just tell me how comfortable you are from an environmental perspective. You're not damaging. What is that looking like for you?
So seaweed is one of the most efficient carbon sinks in the ocean. and also it does support biodiversity. And also the type of the farming, we do train the farmers on how to do environmental friendly seaweed farming in the ocean. So in terms of environment, seaweed is very, very friendly when it comes to supporting the marine.
I mean, but you're removing seaweed. You're removing seaweed from. So how do you ensure? It's like cutting trees, right? You're removing seaweed. Just help me understand what is your sustainability there.
So, Dr. Kalibata, seaweed farming, how it's done, usually seaweed has a tendency to outgrow itself. So the seeds are being sourced from the wild, and when we plant them by using ropes, and after 45 days, this seaweed regrows on its own. So, and after there are 2 cycles of harvests. So once we harvest one, and then when we harvest one cycle, and then we plant another. And also, even when it comes to areas of selection, the selection of the areas ensures that it's the areas that is away from the ecosystems that can potentially damage. So there are sites which have been mapped that are reserved for doing seaweed farming.
Very good. Good. Let me go to you, Anapoka. I just want to understand your business model and how you make your money from your business model while doing good. Again, having learned from something that is that was a challenge growing up, seeing smallholder farming, but you're not discouraged by those challenges you saw growing up. Mm-hmm. You're instead trying to use that to create a business solution as a young person. And while she's answering, I'll come back to you all. I want to know if you're able to create jobs. But just tell me, yeah.
Thank you. So in a nutshell, our solution is what we call the simple green kit. The green kit is a modular greenhouse structure that has been built with recycled metal, wood, or bamboo. It comes also with growing media. Growing media is actually recycled green coconut shells that has been processed into soil or a soil replacement, allowing our farmers to be able to grow food in troughs or in grow bags inside the greenhouses. We don't stop there. We also equip the greenhouse structure with a drip irrigation setup that allows them to save on the amount of water they would ordinarily be using, and also employ low-cost precision farming methods in applying the right amount of fertilizer through fertigation units into the plants or in the grow bags. Then we also follow up with supporting them with agronomy services, so they are not left alone after getting the green kits. We support them with agronomist visits. Agronomists will periodically visit them, go over a dedicated production plan with them. They would also receive data on weather, on market insights to be able to plan their production well. And then we also follow up with buying the produce from them, in a way aggregating the produce from them or linking them to people who directly buy from them. So we looked at a full value chain solution that would allow the farmer to start with us and end with us, which is actually what we've seen going wrong with them. Because a lot of times, let's say you are a new farmer here, you want to start growing, let's say 1-2 acres of tomato. You have to go look for where you will source your land. You have to look for people who will come and help you set up, come and help you clear the land and start the production, kind of plow and all of those things. You have to look for somebody who will recommend the right kind of inputs to use. So recommend the right kind of seeds, recommend the right kind of fertilizer to use. You have to also find someone to train your farm hands that will work with provide you experienced support on the field. It doesn't end there. You have to also go and look for somebody else to link you to markets, especially if you end up coming into production, coming into harvest at a time when that particular produce is it's too much in the market. You have to find somebody to guide you through getting the right pricing for your product, or else you're going to get cheated by middlemen and market women. So for us, that it's an all-encompassing solution that not only allows us to have as much impact as possible on the smallholder farmer, but also in terms of revenue, gives us quite a good amount of revenue streams to benefit from. Because we make money from the construction of the greenhouse, we make money from selling the inputs, we make money from the farm management support, so the agronomists, the use of the farm hands and the others. Then we also make money from aggregating the produce from them and then selling at a small margin, with a small margin on top. So it means that throughout the chain, they are supported by us. They don't have to leave Farmio's support ecosystem and go elsewhere, giving them the right ecosystem to thrive in.
But here is the question for me. How is that your computer science related to this work that you're doing? Just help me understand. You're a computer scientist. Why this work? Yeah.
So in terms of hardware, so computer science didn't just end with tech or application development or website development. In terms of hardware, engineering around the greenhouse structures using recycled metal is one of the main things that happen. That's one of the first points of call. Because here you're not relying on already built systems that have come in from China or from Israel or other places into Ghana. You are picking up metal from small users here, from recycled metal from collectors here, and you're taking it into the fabrication units to be able to fabricate the greenhouse pillars, the trusses, the arcs, and everything, and to get the greenhouse to be structurally secure. It doesn't end there. Working on a production plan and agreeing on how to run a production plan between the agronomist and the farmer is also another thing. So we've developed a USSD component that allows the farmer to, on a daily basis, be able to put in requests for any of our services. Meaning that whether the farmer has access to a smartphone or not, they can still access the services that we provide. That is in itself one kind of technology which is user-friendly and has a human-centered design to the smallholder farmer. It doesn't end there. We have what we call the Farming Super App platform. Now, the Super App platform we are saying is where everybody within the cultural ecosystem or along that value chain can be grouped into there for the smallholder farmer or any other producer in the chain to be able to benefit fully. So we have an e-commerce portion that allows the farmer to trade, to buy and sell inputs, or to buy and sell produce. We have an e-learning portion that allows people to learn the different skills that they need to learn, especially when it comes to applying climate smart agricultural principles on their fields and learning the different precision farming techniques. And then we also have the funding parts, like crowdfunding, crowdsourcing for funds for farmers to be able to benefit from people who have money to invest into projects. We also have the farm management option. Farm management option allows our farmers to, on a daily basis, record their tasks. And it doesn't end there. In terms of job creation, we use agents that basically go to these farmers and then make sure that they are able to enter their daily tasks, they follow their take off what they've done on their production plans, provide records on plant data, plant health on a daily basis. And this helps create jobs for young graduates who are coming out of agri colleges and not really finding a place to be.
But tell me something. How many farmers are you working with, and how many jobs have you created since you started?
Since 2019 to date, we've been able to work with close to about 3,000 farmers. In terms of job creation, during our peak seasons, we are able to hire up to 30, 50 people. And during our off seasons, depending on what we are producing, we are doing between 11 to 18 people. And then aside that, in terms of revenue, we clocked a little bit over $1 million last year. So we've also been doing pretty well there. And we are also profitable as we speak. So it's a
That's good.
that we've actually refined really well to fit within the needs of the farmer, because we have seen how the farmer behaves from when we started building just small backyard units to when we added all the other service lines to them. So we've seen how they behave, we've seen their pain points, and we simply refine the products to fit with, to provide a solution to whatever pain points we see.
So do you find farmers where they are at? Do you get them to grow better what they do, or you're introducing specific products which you feel are best for the market? What do you do there?
We don't necessarily introduce products that we feel are fit for the market. We study the market to know what products move really well in the market, and so to make sure that our farmers are producing what we can sell.
Okay.
To take on the job of bringing in new products onto the markets, that burdens the farmer or burdens us with having to teach the farmer on how to grow those new products. But if you work with what the farmer already knows and you work with what the market is already consuming, and only your job is to only make sure that you're churning out good quality products all year round, then it endears you to off-takers who are buying from you, or it endears you to the customers that you are supplying to. And then you're also able to provide better value for the farmer. So the tomato farmer who grows 1 acre can graduate to growing 10 acres, because under your support, you're connecting him to a larger market. And so that's how, for us, it works. We move from market to the farmer, not even from farmer to market. We do the other way around, just to make sure our farmers are producing something better for the market.
Okay, that's good. So I have one question that I need answered, two questions that I need answered in one breath. Are you able to create jobs, number one? Number two, what are you most excited about in this business?
So I'm able to create jobs. The jobs that we've created so far, we have farm IT ambassadors. Our farm IT ambassadors are young graduates from basic vocational training institutes that we take. They have done basic agriculture. We just take them, we onboard them, we train them about our system, and then now we deploy them to the fields, to our different counties. So they're the ones who directly go to the farms to recruit the farmers. The other jobs that we have created is we also hire interns to continuously develop our system, because our system still needs a bit of developing. So we take interns from different institutions where they are able to learn as they iterate our system. And then after that, we employ a few. We believe that there's a great opportunity of us employing a lot of farm IT ambassadors, because with the continuous new feedback we get from the farmers, we need to have more different offerings. Like now we are venturing into the markets, because when the farmers get a lot of yields that they didn't know where to sell, they need to get markets for this produce. So we also need to connect them to large scale buyers who may take their produce. So that is one thing that that we feel proud of. The other thing, the other element, the second question is also about IT and agriculture is a bit disruptive in nature, and it is continuously developing. Right now, we're hearing about AI, we're hearing about machine learning. I mean, these are items that are bringing a good sense in terms of, will it be able to remove the field extension officers? Will be able to replace their jobs, because now we'll be having about chatbots. So it's something very interesting, and
Yeah, but yeah,
to create new jobs in it.
yeah.
The other interesting thing is about climate and about the volatility of weather, of farming. I mean, if you're in Kenya, you know, in the last 2 weeks, we had demonstrations. In the past 1 month, we had flooding. I mean, how are farmers coping up with these items? So this kind of volatility brings another different aspect in terms of anti-fragility. I mean, what are these systems that we can create to our farmers that can make them to absorb this form of shocks? Yeah.
Very good. So the excitement you have is that actually the technology, that technology part allows you to be able to cope with a lot of challenges, and you see that the agriculture sector actually does offer an opportunity to continue innovating around, I mean, to use technology to continue innovating and finding solutions.
Definitely.
Nancy, as we move towards closing, what jobs are you creating and what are you excited about?
So when you look at the seaweed value chain, from farming to transportation to processing to marketing, there is all this value chain, it needs people. And currently at my company, there are 13 people who are employed, and all of them are young people, and 90% is women. But also indirectly, we are working with about 100 people along the value chain who are also employed across the seaweed value chain. And what I'm excited about is that is the growing numbers of the seaweed farmers in the coastal areas. That makes me so excited, because I think it provides a room for more innovations in the sector, and also at the end of the day to provide or create jobs along the seaweed value chain. I think that makes me very excited.
Very good. I see that. Hannah Poka, are you still on? Yeah, I can hear you, but your camera is off. What are you excited about?
I am excited about the opportunity to expand the capacity of the smallholder farmer. We have been in a cycle of poverty-minded smallholder farmer for too long. We've all believed that the smallholder farmer in the village may not be able to ever do anything sustainable for themselves and only would have to benefit from a lot of impact grant-based programs. But getting farmers who are actually interested in running sustainable businesses around their production is actually what we see when we go on the field. Like, they're interested in benefiting from support for an acre so that the next year they can do 2 acres. So the next 3 years they can do 10 acres. They are willing to grow and to turn what they are doing into a business. And they are actually the key to moving us from an import-based economy to an more export-focused economy, from focusing on consuming a lot of foreign European standard products to actually consuming and benefiting from our local market and our local productions. And so I'm excited to be able to leverage technology, making it user-friendly. I mean, understanding that our farmers may not be able to always have access to mobile apps and can work with whatever small devices that they have and can also benefit from our USSD platform. Leveraging the growing youth population to serve as agents, teaching them to directly reach these farmers, come back with feedback, come back with solutions, go back and impact on these farmers right on their farms without having to face a challenge with technology not being able to reach rural communities. I'm excited about being able to leverage on these populations to help our smallholder farmers to grow, and in a sense, grow our economy as Africans as a whole.
Very good. Thank you. So, Aggie, there you have it. My excitement talking to these young people is just recognizing that there are so many opportunities that young people can be part of in the agriculture sector. I mean, I've said forever that the agriculture sector is the way we are going to change our continent. And just listening to you guys, you're validating what I've said forever, that it's not because they are smallholder farmers. It is the smallholder farmers that we need. We just to have the right models for them. So that's number one. Number two, Gen Z is going to be the answer to this problem because you're not discouraged. You've walked around, you've started with nothing and really come up with solutions that are working not just for you, working for smallholder farmers, but also working for young people like yourselves. So I really think that for me, it's how do we do more of this? How do we encourage more young people like you? How do we double down and overcome some of the challenges you've said? And by the way, as I'm listening to you all, I just realized one unfortunate fact. We all refer to Gen Z as the generation that got to experience the smartphone.
The smartphone.
But the unfortunate bit is it is the first generation that is living through full throttle climate change. I don't think we've ever discussed that. I grew up seeing really good seasons. I knew when to start raining. I knew when to stop raining. Now you guys are basically reminding me, by listening to you, you actually make it sound like it has always been so difficult, so unpredictable. No, this just started the other day. So you are actually the first generation that is living through full throttle climate change, and your children, the alphas of this world, are going to be the first generation that is living through a 1.5 degree world, because this year we're over 1.5 degrees for a whole year. This July month is the first month, 1 year full throttle of a world of 1.5 degrees. So anyway, challenges, but as we said earlier, as we started, opportunities. And I'm encouraged by the fact that you see technology as the opportunity to overcome many of the challenges in the agriculture sector. And we are here to support you. We really are excited with the work that you do. And we use this opportunity, we would like to use this opportunity to encourage many more young people on the ground to be you, the people that are changing food systems as they are today for the benefit of smallholder farmers.
No, thank you very much, Dr. Kalibata, and really exciting to hear from you, Anna Poka. Even with the mobility that you have, you still stayed resilient and kept on the line. Nancy, your story is really inspirational, and Alan, it's amazing to hear from what you're doing. And I think, as Dr. Kalibata, as you close, I am reminded by a quote by Wangari Maathai that said that we are called to assist the earth to heal itself. And in doing so, we also heal ourselves. And I think the stories of these three entrepreneurs actually resonate with that very clearly, that indeed, if we take care of the earth and the planet on which we live, we might survive the next 1.5 season that we are living in as a climate change. So really inspired by your ability to not only look at a challenge and say, this is our fate, but to actually convert it into a massive opportunity. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your stories. We do hope that these will inspire other young people to come up and create solutions for the opportunities that we see in the agriculture sector. So thank you very much to all you trailblazers. It's been an honor.
Yeah.
And thank you.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes, please.
We have the Africa Food Systems Forum, 5 to 6 September, with or without an invitation, be there. I mean, you had Nancy, her market is growing because of what happened last year with the Africa Food Systems Forum, but also just be there to be part of the community and to encourage other young people like you, and to also meet businesses. We do have a day room for young people like you. That is the place where we talk about opportunities and where we give you an opportunity to profile what you're doing so that you can grow your businesses. So we'll be very happy to work with you on that. And again, we are excited to have you. And thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So to our trailblazers that have joined us today, Anapoka, Alan, and Nancy, thank you very much for joining this podcast with Banter with Dr. Kalibata.
This was Kalibanter with young people that are making a difference for smallholder farmers. Thank you.
It's a wrap.